Oh my gosh. All right, there we go. Okay, so anyway, I wanted to get on here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is a beautiful Monday morning. I am going on a walk. I wanted to chat this morning, and so hopefully we get few people to join in. Excuse me. So my neighborhood has a lot of hills. So I'm going on this walk, and I hope that I don't run out of breath so I can walk and talk. So I'm kind of like slowly walking, so I'm out of breath. But anyway, yeah. So this morning, what I wanted to talk about, which I never really talk about, is the impact that toxic people can have on your life. And I think this is a topic that so many people can relate to, and a lot of people don't talk about, because a lot of times it's so shameful to admit. Sometimes we just really don't realize that we are in a toxic relationship, especially if it's with family members, if it's with your parents, with your siblings. You love your family member, so you don't want to keep that stuff inside. A lot of times, if it's keep, we're in the same pattern, and we don't even realize that there's a problem because it's all we know. And so I'm tired of holding this shit in. I'm so tired of holding it in. I've been holding it in for too long. I didn't want anybody to feel like I was, I didn't want anybody to feel like I was like trying to bash them. So I had to keep everything in to myself, and I had to suffer in silence because I didn't want it to seem like I was shading anybody. I'm sick of it. And I think most people should speak on it. I think people should stop hiding what's happening behind closed doors, and people will stop doing the shit. So, like for me, it's my mother. It's my mother. She is so toxic, but nobody sees it, because when people come around, she acts like a totally different person. You would never know, like, unless I recorded her, you would never know how she acts when people leave. For example, if somebody's coming into town and they call and they're like, I'm in your city. If you're just coming in, I'm going for a walk. So I know I sound like I'm out of breath, because I am. But she'll answer the phone. They're like, oh, I'm in your city. I want to come visit you. And she's like, yeah, come on by. Hang up the phone and start complaining about them coming by. And why do they always call her? Don't they know anybody else in the city? So on and so forth. So she'll have them over. She'll like clean up immaculately, right? And then they'll come over. And she'll put on this mask. And as soon as she closes the door, as they walk out, she's back to being herself. And so, two things about that. Number one, I genuinely do not understand why you can't be yourself. Why can't you just, if you really don't feel like seeing them, then you should, I wouldn't say tell them that you don't want to see them, but like, don't see them. If it's really that serious that you have to talk about them, gossip about them, just don't visit with them. Number two, sorry about that. Number two, I just feel like, why is it always a problem? Why is it always a problem for a friend to drop by? It's never anybody. No one could come by. No one could call. No one could be a part of your life without it being some type of complaint. It's just, and I don't think it's exclusive to my mom. I think this is just that generation, the boomer generation, that they're just so judgmental. They they fully respect the generation that came before them, but they do not respect at all anybody that came under them. Everybody's doing something wrong. These kids can't, I don't know, technology is a problem. The way they dress is a problem. Being a part of a different community is a problem. Just nobody does anything right if it's not them or the generations above them. It's just, everything is wrong. And it's just so pretentious. Everything is about keeping your house perfect, which is fine. I get it. Excuse me. I get if that's how you live. But if you don't live like that and you rush and you go out and buy new dishes, and one time a new couch was purchased because we were having a family event. Nothing was wrong with the old couch. It was just that person had retired, and through their retirement, they went out and bought a new house, new furniture, and that person was coming into town, and it's just like, they feel like they have to compete with their friends. They feel like they have to compete with family members. And it's just, I don't understand that generation. And as far as like going no contact, I know a lot of people talk about going no contact with family members. And it's just like, a lot of people are against it and saying that it's wrong. But what people don't realize about going no contact is that up until you get to that point, there has been so much that transpired. Like, it's not just, oh, they treated me wrong, I'm going to just go no contact. No. Before you got to the point of no contact, there have been conversations, there have been lies spread, there have been rumors, there has been criticism. It's been so much negativity up until the point where you decide you can't take it anymore, that you finally decide, like, I can't do this. Like, I deserve to have some peace. I deserve to have happiness. I deserve to be around people who actually want to be around me. I deserve to be around people who think something that I do is right, and that's where no contact comes into play. And a lot of people, if they haven't experienced it, they just feel like, I don't know, your mom checked on you 1, 2 times and you just decided that you were going to cut her off, or your parents. And so it's just a really tough place to be in, because you don't want to spend too much of your time venting about it and, talking about it. You want to move on, but it's just so many things that you uncover. Like, as years go by, you're like, I can't believe this used to happen. All these times that I missed out on opportunities because I listened to them, because I trusted them, because they were my family. or I thought they, really cared about me and they were helping me make a decision, when all this time it was jealousy and I missed out on that opportunity. And so how can you, a lot of people like, just let it go, it was in the past. Your past always affects your present and your future. And so I do agree that it's not something that you could just take and just carry it with you every single day, but I do feel like it needs to be talked about. I feel like people need to talk about it, and I think people need to go no contact with their family. I think people need to go no contact with friends who you may have been friends with for a long time and you know that they're no good for you. Your friends can be toxic. Your family can be toxic. And if they are, they have no business having that sort of negativity around you. Oh, I missed this comment. I'm so sorry. It says, I rarely acknowledge toxic people. The thing is, I'm about this money. I don't have time to exclude my haters. Hi from Texas. Hi, Bruce. Yeah, I feel like I understand that. I get that. It makes 100% sense. And I am mostly like that. But I feel like sometimes, depending on your situation and depending on, if you're currently in the toxic situation, sometimes you don't have a choice but to acknowledge them, like, you live with them. Or, there's a situation where you have to be their caregiver. There's a situation where, you share children with them or, there's different resources you share with them. So some people don't acknowledge toxic people because they don't have anything else to do. Some people acknowledge toxic people because they're still stuck financially or not financially, sometimes physically, financially, emotionally, you're still stuck with this person. And so you kind of have to get it out and you have to talk about it and you have to acknowledge it so that you can move past it, so that you can get on to the next, stage in your life. But I appreciate the comment. And I'm definitely working on that. I'm definitely working on not having any type of ties with any of the toxic in my life, so that I can pick and choose when I am around them, if I ever have to be around them. But sometimes if you're in a toxic situation that you find yourself in, you're already knee deep in it, whether that's purchasing a home together, starting a business together, having children. You're knee deep in the situation before you realize it was a toxic person, especially if you came from a toxic background. And, you might look up and say, damn. And now you can't just walk away from your business or your children, or your home. So you kind of have to acknowledge it and have to deal with it and have to sometimes just vent about it, if not for nothing else. So it's really upsetting though, especially if you've been going through this since childhood. It's really upsetting because you kind of mourn the life that you could have had if you hadn't had somebody toxic dumping their pain on you and dumping their hurt on you. You know, you could have been a different person living a different life. Um, you could have surrounded yourself with better friends and had better opportunities. And now here you are, living the life that they, I don't know, created for you with their projection, with their, um, you all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping that, people out there who are in these situations or have been in these situations can get past it and move past it. Um, but yeah, it's pretty sad when you, at least the first half of your life, have been surrounded by people who weren't even meant to be around you, who don't even like you, who don't even love you. You know, it's really, really sad. I can tell you about a time, and I don't know why I didn't pick up on it before. I guess I was so used to it. But I can tell you guys about a time where there was a time period where my car broke down. And so I didn't have a car. And what did I do with that car? I'm trying to remember. I guess we probably took it to like a junkyard or something. I really don't remember. But I'm thinking we took it. So I had no car. Like, I had no car around. And I didn't know how to fix it. I'm the girl, I'm the only like girl here. I just didn't know how to fix cars or where to go or who to talk to without being like, jerked around. And so when I didn't have my car, I started working at a restaurant because that's like my go-to when I'm like in a pinch and I need to get my money back. I always go to restaurants because restaurants are always quick, easy money. Like, it's a lot of hard work. You're on your feet, carrying a lot of heavy plates and trays and things like that, but it's pretty much easy money, right? Or quick money. That's what I should say. It's not necessarily easy money. It's like quick money. And so I was working at this restaurant, and I was there for maybe like 6 months, and I had most of the money that I needed in order to buy my car. So I decided like I want to speed up this process because like it took me 6 months. I don't want it to be another 3 months. Like, I need my car. Like, when you don't have a car and you live like in the South, you need a car ASAP. Like, it's just so inconvenient. It's the worst to not have a car in the South. Like, the absolute worst. And so I wanted to speed up the process instead of it, because it took me like 6 months to get the money that I had, and now I need like maybe a quarter of the way more to get the car. So I was like, let me work 2 jobs. So I started just applying. I finally landed a job at another restaurant because I was applying a bunch of places. So I finally landed a job at another restaurant, and so now I'm working 2 jobs with no car, right? So my mom and my stepdad said that they would help me look for a car. So like, they were just like, what's your budget? I told them what my budget was, like what I was trying to save up for, and then they said they would look for a car for me. So cool. I am working. At first I was working at both places. So like, I will work Monday at one restaurant, and Monday through Saturday I might have a day off, but at this time I'm like, I have a goal in mind, right? So I would have maybe one day off each restaurant. So usually I was pretty much working 7 days. And so Monday through Sunday, like I said, maybe a day off each. And it was probably never the same day off. Like, I never had Monday off from both jobs. You know what I mean? So that's what I was doing at first for like maybe 2 months. So when I got to the third month, I was like, this is a lot. So I said, I'm going to do... And the reason why it was a lot, not only was it a lot working that much, but it was a lot because my stepdad was taking me to and from these places. So he had to drop me off, go back home, pick me up, take me to the next place, drop me off. It was just a lot. So I decided what I'm going to do is work Monday through Thursday morning. No, Monday through Wednesday at job A. Monday through Wednesday, I was going to do doubles. So Monday morning to Monday evening, Tuesday, Wednesday. So all day from like open to close on 3 days. On the fourth day, which is Thursday, I worked the morning only and then went to job B. And I worked job B Thursday evening, all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. You see? So I'm working doubles every day, all day. Got the money for my car. So now I have my car. No, now I have the money for the car and I give it to my mom and my stepdad. So, I guess a few days go by and they're like, yeah, we'll go and we got to go talk to the guy that has the car. And I'm just like, okay, cool. So I'm excited. I have worked really, really hard. Me having the 2 jobs was a lot of back and forth. It was just such a pain to not have a car and depend on other people and not be able to go places, especially when you work that hard. You do need a break. But in my family, it's all about work. They don't really care about you enjoying, or at least they don't seem to care about you enjoying yourself. It was just all about work. As long as she's going to work, we all good. And so no one ever, and I'm young, I was a young mom. No one ever like kind of pushed me to like take a break and that's kind of the beginning of me knowing that they don't really care about me like that. No one ever really pushed me to take a day off. Everything was like they kind of celebrated the fact that I worked so much. And so anyway, graduation, they took the car. No, they supposedly went and got the car. And my mom called me and she said, yeah, so we got your car. And I'm like, you got it? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, really? I was just like, where are you now? And I think this is one day, like on my way to work, like let's just say 9 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, yeah. She's like, meet me at such and such place. Like, I don't know. It was like a Walgreens or something. So I was like, okay. So I don't remember whose car I was in, but I feel like I was going to Walgreens in someone else's car, like maybe. So every now and then, my friends, if they had the weekend off or something and they weren't going anywhere, they would let me hold their car. That was rare, but it did happen from time to time. And I'm talking about really rare, like twice a year. And not that they were being shady. I just didn't want to drive anybody else's car. I've always been weird like that. Okay, so I meet her at the Walgreens and I get out and I walk around. I'm looking at her with my eyes wide open like it was Christmas morning. And I walk over to the car. I was like, oh my gosh. And I am so excited, and I am just like touching the car and rolling the windows down, rolling them back up. There was a sunroof. I'm like rolling the sunroof down, back, open and close. I'm just touching the seats, and I'm just super, super excited. Do you know? After like 5 minutes of me just like marveling over this car and talking about how nice it is and how, I'm so excited to finally be able to drive to work, not cruise around the streets, but like drive to work. And I'm just so excited. And she's like, so I was just like, oh, I think it might have been my aunt's car that I was in. I think it might have been my aunt's car. So I give her the car. She was like, you want to drive it? No, she didn't say, do you want to drive it? I don't think. Maybe. I don't remember that part. I just remember her standing to the side as I was marveling over this car and how nice it was and how exciting I am. And I remember her just standing to the side, just watching me. And then she looks and she's like, I don't remember what I said. I think I might have asked about the title or something. And she was like, oh no, this is not your car. We don't get your car until tomorrow. Say what? So whose car is this? This is her car. Now, mind you, she didn't tell me that she was looking for a car. So this is a complete shock. I had no idea that both of them were looking for a car. Like, they're looking for a car and I'm looking for a car. I thought that they were focused on looking for me a car, because had I known that they were looking for a car as well, I may not have done that, because in my opinion, I feel like if you come across two cars and you're looking for one yourself, unless you're very specific, like if you're looking for a pickup truck and I'm looking for a car, chances are you're going to get you're the better deal, right? You're not going to. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on that part. Well, I could swing back around to that part, but basically what I'm saying is I didn't even know they were in a market for a car. They said that they were looking for my car. And this is not from a selfish place. This is genuinely what I thought. This was her car, but she knew that I thought it was my car. And she literally sat and watched me marvel around her car, thinking that it was my car. And so she was like, oh, this isn't yours. This is ours. We got a car too. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, well, it's nice. And now I have to shift gears, because I'm like going out of like, but where's my car? I have been working 2 jobs, literally 7 days a week, open to close, for the past 6 months. Well, really, it was the 2 jobs was for 3 months. But before that, I was working doubles at the other job. So we can basically say, for like the past 9 months, I was working really, really hard to save up for a car. And you know that was my primary goal. And you know how straining it was. And you know how tough my life has been because I haven't had a car. And then you pull up in your car that I didn't even know you were in the market for. That's some evil ass shit right there. That's some really evil shit. But like, nobody gives a fuck. You know, because if I tell my brother that's what she did, it's just like, damn, that's fucked up. But nobody really knows like the pain that caused for your mom to like hate on you like that, for your mom to feel that way about you. That's fucked up. And maybe, you know, sometimes I like to give her the benefit of the doubt, because everybody thinks my mom is so great. But like, if I were to tell that story, what would you say? What would you say? What would be the reason she did that? Like, you would be able to say, oh, we didn't know that you'd feel away. Like, if you'd put it back on me, you'd put the responsibility of that action back on me. You wouldn't hold. Like, even if you play, you know, devil's advocate, which I hate that. It's right, it's right. It's wrong, it's wrong. Like, the devil's advocate shit kills me. But, okay, fine. If you play the devil's advocate, maybe even that. Maybe even if you look at both ways and say, oh, I could see how that would hurt. But I also see that she probably was just excited about her car and she wanted you to be excited with her, which makes no sense. But like, if you were really going hard to try to play devil's advocate, I could see you saying that. But that doesn't even make sense. Like, let's be so for real. How does that even make sense? She wanted you to be so excited, but she didn't even tell you that it was hers. She wanted you to be excited thinking it was yours until she burst your bubble. Like, come on. Like, and people will sit there and you can tell the story to 10 different people and be like, damn. And not because you want to shade her, but you like, is it me? Like, am I looking at this wrong? And so then there's that. It's just like people will sit around and watch you get abused and don't really give a shit. You know, you can have a I don't know. I guess maybe you need to have a black eye and then they'll care. But other than that, they don't give a shit. They really don't care. So then you start questioning, like, who really gives a fuck? And so this is why, that's just one example. I can go on and on and on. But, like, that's just one example of many things that have happened. And then you go through so many of those things and you're like, I don't want to be treated like this. I don't want you to trick me into, like, being happy about something that turns out to not be mine, or being lied to, or being having my privacy violated. I don't want to go through these things and then have nobody to vent to. I don't want to go through it in the first place, but then if I go through it, I can't vent to anybody, because I vent to anybody, nobody gives a damn. So you just talking, nobody's listening, which rightfully so. I get it. Nobody wants to hear this. Like, life is too short to be jam-packed with somebody else's negative experiences. You want to enjoy your kids. You want your kids to enjoy their childhood. You want to enjoy your life. Nobody wants to sit around and listen to you complain about your life and how somebody's treating you. So then you decide that I'm going to go no contact because I don't want this in my life, because I don't deserve to have this in my life. If I do continue to have it in my life, you're not going to listen to it. So I just have to go through it alone? Like, make it make sense. So if you have to be a villain, just go ahead and be a villain. Because if you're a nice guy, nobody gives a shit anyway.